I'm so delighted that you could join us here today whilst we take a moment together. This afternoon is about us coming together. It's about reflecting on the past 2 years, but it's also about looking forwards. The COVID pandemic has brought many challenges to health and care services, and it continues to do so. Health and care services have felt the impact of COVID long before lockdown. The preparation, the planning, working together, working across the system began at a very early stage. We've had to work collaboratively and tirelessly to provide the best health and care services that we possibly could for the people of Fife. At every turn, we've been challenged, but we have responded positively and actively. It's definitely not been easy. It's been the most challenging time for me in my career of 27 years, and I'm sure I'm not alone in saying that. Across all staff groups, across all professions, we have seen hard work and dedication from individuals, from teams, from services, and from our system as a whole. It has been both humbling and inspiring. So it's important today that we do take a moment, that we look back. We look back on all that we have achieved. Despite the ongoing challenges, it's also important that we look forwards with hope. In the words of Desmond Tutu, hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. Let's now take a moment to listen and enjoy Healthy Harmonies.
I'm the Chief Executive of NHS Fife, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here today. There are so many of you, so it's lovely to see everyone, and thank you first of all to Lynn Campbell, who has organised the events for today. I'd like to take a moment for us. It's been 2 years and almost 2 months since the COVID pandemic changed our lives forever. At times, it feels like we've been on a never-ending roller coaster of disruption, disconnection and distress. But today is about taking a moment to reflect and remember the incredible achievements by you, our staff, and to look forward with hope for the future. So I'd like to take a moment to say thank you from me. As Team NHS Fife, you have consistently gone above and beyond and you never cease to amaze me. Back in March 2020, you changed patient pathways and the physical environment of all our hospitals and our services across Fife. And some of that was done almost overnight. And it was in an effort to protect our patients, families and one another. Since then, we have seen so many changes, all required to respond to the multiple waves of the coronavirus pandemic. I'd like to take a moment to remember how strong, brave and resilient you have all been. But I'd also like to take a moment to say quite firmly that it's okay not to be okay. We're all human beings and we need to give ourselves permission to feel sad, to feel frustrated and at times exhausted. Take a moment to acknowledge that you're part of a team and we all need to be there for one another. I'd also like to take a moment to remember those who are gone, but definitely not forgotten. In your day-to-day work, many of you care for people in their final moments of life. But over the last 2 years, many of you have also lost family members, dear friends, and also some of our colleagues. And it's with deep sadness that I would like us just to take a moment while we stand here today to remember these staff members across Fife who we had to say goodbye to far too soon. I'd also like to take a moment to give my personal appreciation to all of you for your humility, your humanity, your compassion and your kindness. I am grateful and thankful to be the Chief Executive of NHS Fife. It's a privilege and it's a responsibility that I never take for granted, not even for a moment. So finally, I'd like us to take a moment to simply be present, be with one another and enjoy a moment of peaceful reflection while we listen again to the wonderful Healthy Harmonies.
Everybody, I'm Ian Campbell, one of the healthcare chaplains, and it's lovely to see you all here today. I'm here to, let's take a moment for our patients. And we need to acknowledge the real difficulties and challenges that patients and their families faced in the last 2 years during the pandemic. And we need to understand the trauma that the illness presented to everyone. And we also have to acknowledge the frequent changes that need to be implemented and how things moved forward and changed on a weekly basis. And that carried a great deal of uncertainty, not just for the families, but for the patients and everybody around about us. There were always feelings of fragmentation and sometimes feelings of difficulty, but the desire to provide the best care was always there, it was always present. I saw that. I saw it at the moment somebody came into the hospital, the patient or the families, and they worked their various ways into departments or the wards. It was delivered with compassion, with real feeling, and the best of care was provided. When visiting was restricted, and this was difficult for the patients and families, there was a decision taken to actually purchase iPads and digital devices to make sure there was lines of communication always kept open whenever that was possible between the families and the patients. And also it's worth noting, and it's noteworthy how much compassion this invoked. When that wasn't possible, staff were always present and with the patient and with their families. I can testify to that myself because I saw it. I remember also the words that the poet Michael Rosen wrote when he was a patient suffering with COVID. It resonates to me even today because I think it's important and I see it in the families that I visit. Michael, in trying to make sense of the pandemic, wrote a few of these words. I am not who I was. I am who I was. This is not me, this is me. I am now the person who had COVID, the thing that came in March. And he said this really poignantly. I am now the person who disappeared in April and in May. I am getting to know that person. This is me, this is not me. What the poet is trying to say quite clearly is that we are all deeply changed by what's happened. But what I would like to say is, and I see this daily, everybody's involved in the families and the patient. The care that they delivered, it's something that's at their core. It is what is best about them, and it's the values that shape us. At the moment, we have to acknowledge some pressures still exist, but the care that's provided to the patients and families is ever present. I see this commitment daily. I see it in people still training, those who are newly qualified, those arriving here in this hospital as international students, those more experienced, and I see them here today, those more experienced within the teams and departments and within the wards, those supervising, those managing and those leading the organisation, and many of them are here today. The desire to provide the best care is indeed reflected by what is delivered at this very moment. So finally, in taking a moment for our patients, we acknowledge the uncertainty, the loss and the trauma that was present, but also recognise the immense fortitude and strength and courage they showed, supported very much by those who were with them always. I'm going to leave you some final words by the Irish poet and philosopher John O'Donoghue, in the hope they strengthen you going forward. John O'Donoghue wrote years ago, "May you embrace the beauty in what you do, or indeed in what you carry, and how you stand like secret angels between the bleak despair of illness and the unquenchable light of spirit. But may you never doubt the gifts that you all bring." Thank you, and we remember the patients.
I am taking a moment to reflect on the events of the past 2 years and allow myself to grow personally and professionally, to recognise how proud I am to be standing here in my uniform as part of such a dedicated and dynamic team, to feel optimistic that our newfound resilience will enable us to have the tools to face the challenges ahead.
Hi, we would like to reflect back on how hard it was working in the wards, seeing the patients without their visitors and the visitors seeing their family members, not being able to pass belongings in, and how hard it was seeing everybody scared and the staff scared, everybody was unsure. So it's good now seeing the hospital back to normality and everybody in the wards seem a lot happier and friendlier, and it's all a lot better atmosphere, and everything's getting back to normal.
And I'm taking a moment just to think, 2 weeks today I'm going away on holiday. And thank God everything's back to normal. I think that one resonates with a lot of us, absolutely. Susan.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Susan Alatin, Senior Charge Nurse in Ward 54. I'm taking a moment to reflect on the last 2 years, and I would like to take the opportunity and use this platform to say thank you to the NHS and thank you to my team. These special people have all worked tremendously hard for the last 2 years, and I want to thank them for their professionalism and their dedication. It's not just a thank you, it's a thank you.
My name's Anne-Marie, I'm a paramedic team leader for Fife, and I'm taking a moment to reflect and give thanks to all the amazing staff members across the ambulance service for their hard work and dedication which they've shown and continued to show through what has been an unprecedented time for us all. I would also like to take a time and a moment to remember our colleagues we have lost through the line of duty, and remember them fondly for their care and dedication which they showed to their patients and to their patients' family that they cared for.
Hi, I'm Linda from Security Officers. I am taking a moment to celebrate getting my life back. Last year I went through a horrible illness and through COVID also survived it, and I want to reflect on all my team because we also worked very hard. All the services worked hard, but we were right at the front door and we took all the abuse, let me tell you. So I want to say thank you to our guys as well.
Well done, Linda. But not least, and I'm a wee bit scared, but Chris.
Afternoon everyone, I'm Chris McKenna, I'm the Medical Director here in Fife. I'm also a consultant on duty today, and I've looked after people with COVID and I'm still doing that today actually. But I'd like to take a moment not to repeat everything that everyone has said, but take a moment to be thankful, to thank all of the hard work. I think sometimes, look, see, I told you I was on duty today. But all of the sacrifice that people have made. But if I'm going to be more personal than that, I'm going to take a moment to be thankful for the small things. And I think that over the last couple of years, those little things have taken on a new meaning to all of us. When you're restricted on what you can do and where you can go and who you can see, sometimes that's a really small thing like it's spring and the trees are coming back to life and there are blossoms on trees, and you know, those are the things that make you feel a bit better when everything's not very good. It's quite warm out here. Take a moment to be thankful that summer might be on its way in Scotland. You know, we don't have the best weather for about 6 months of the year, so I'm grateful that it does feel a little bit warmer. I guess finally just to say thank you for the leadership team that we have in Fife. It hasn't been easy delivering what we've had to do over the last couple of years, so I'm thankful for being part of a very, very strong leadership team, and thank you to Carol for her leadership across this pandemic. So thank you everyone.
Thanks very much. So I'm just going to, I've got a short poem reading, just reflecting, and it captures some of the things that have already been said, so forgive me. So let's take a moment. It has been a tough couple of years, and looking ahead with hope, we acknowledge the tears. Spring heralds a time for new beginnings and growth, side by side with colleagues in NHS Fife on the 4th. We did not know the size of the challenge ahead, but staff faced it proudly and new teams were made. While making new acquaintances, we learned lots of new skills. It tested us thoroughly, but where there's a way, there's a will. People on doorsteps clapping each Thursday night, banging pots to appreciate and keep us feeling bright. Good wishes sent to all staff in the great NHS, in all services and disciplines, everyone important, none were any less.
We learned to adapt as new knowledge was found, red and green pathways and moving around. With correct PPE and testing at point of care, it's hard to recall all the steps that took us there. But there we did go with pride in our hearts, along with other emotions, including fear for a start. Courage was shown in so many ways, and this collectively took us through these dark days. We remember our patients, we did try our best. As families were restricted, caring for you, we were blessed. Along the way, we remember close colleagues as well, no longer here with us, but their stories we will tell. A proud day for us all when the George Cross was awarded, given for courage, compassion and recognition recorded. We all witnessed our colleagues and were often inspired, in spite of the challenges and feeling so tired. Time now taken to reflect on the journey we've come. It's important for all of us as we begin to move on. From this pandemic and all of the challenges it held, we may be a little weary, but we are not failed. To colleagues beside us, please turn and say thank you. To absent friends and family, we raise our glasses to you. We will work on together, held in the NHS spirit of family, moving forward with strength and remembering with humility. I was going to be inviting our surprise star. I'm not quite sure if he's here yet. But I think he's en route. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the pipe band to give us a few tunes if we can, and then we'll have a vote of thanks, and hopefully we'll have our star here. Otherwise we'll have a fabulous encore from the pipe band. So I'll hand over to them.
it really is very important to all of us just to take a moment to reflect on every day and try to find those little nuggets of positivity, because it's been so hard, as you've heard from everyone else here today, just how difficult it's been for our staff, our patients and the general public. And we need to just take from that anything positive that we can get. And it's these moments of reflection and taking time out for yourself that's kind of gotten me through these past couple of years, and especially these past few months, when I lost someone very dear to me, a young girl who was only 14. But she made me promise in her last days that we needed always to think of others, that somebody is always worse off, there's always something worse happening, and that we need to find the positive things in life. And I've taken that message from Sarah, and I try that every day. Some days harder than others, but I do try so much to do that. And I promised her I would. What we'd like everyone to do is to take one of the cards that are being distributed around and to fill in what your moment of reflection is, and let us know what you do to reflect and what you're reflecting on. And pop them in the boxes that are down here at the front, and I think some people will come round with them as well. I'd like now to give thanks to the Victoria Hospital Radio who've set this up, to the estates and support staff who've pulled lots of things together for us, to all our fabulous speakers, the wonderful Healthy Harmonies Choir, award-winning choir, and the Methuen District Pipe Band. And a special thanks, I think, to Lynn Campbell, who has pulled this together, who started it off. But of course we know that the real reason we're here are for our own heroes, our staff. I can't believe how they've risen to this challenge and continued to put the best foot forward at every turn. I've never ever been prouder to be a nurse than I have these past few years. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you have done and continue to do. I've never been more privileged to work with you and for you. Thank you.